Hi Starburst, I'm Angel. Welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna get into today's video. Alright, hi guys. So today's video is definitely going to be a very unexpected couple. It is going to be Bitsy and Bobby from SATC. We only ever see this couple mentioned in season 5 of SATC. This couple is very much unexpected to the four main girls, Charlotte, Carrie, Samantha, and Miranda. These four are actually not out on town when they run into Bobby. Carrie claims that he's a friend of hers. I don't really think that they're as close as to him as she originally thought. She probably thinks that they are friends, and they probably are friends, but she only ever sees him like once a year or so, or maybe twice a year. Anyway, these two announced that they are getting married to the shock of everybody, especially Miranda, and I believe it was Charlotte as well, and including Stanford. He, as a gay man, is especially surprised about this, which I kind of find surprising considering I think it was back in season 1 or season 2. Carrie and him were going to platonically marry each other just so he can get his grandmother's inheritance. Meanwhile, while I know that is mostly for his benefit and kind of her benefit, this marriage seems to be a marriage of, of those types of love that are mentioned here. I'm going to basically get into that in a little bit, but for right now, I just kind of want to mention that all four girls end up going to their wedding or so, and Bobby is kind of touching on Marcus, Stanford's boyfriend, and she's like, oh my god, work hard odds, and da-da-da-da. Alright, back to the point. As I mentioned, there are 8 types of love that each character kind of goes through throughout the 6 seasons of SATC, and I kind of really want to take the time to mention them and kind of highlight how it kind of strongly differs from each of the 4 main characters, and also from Bitsy and Bobby's relationship, even though it's not really that much highlighted. Also, I kind of want to mention here that Marcus is insanely perceptive. He says that Bobby probably just makes Bitsy laugh. There are 8 types of love, which is basically agape, philia, phlegma, mania, eros, philia, storge, and ludus. To give you a good example, Carrie says that basically what she's looking for is love, real love. Ridiculous, inconvenient, consume, and can't live without each other love. This type of love is called mania. And then another type of love that she also shares is called philia, which is love between friends. But unfortunately for her, she tends to dip on her friends very often, and it comes across like she has too little of it. To be honest, there's always 2 sides to the same coin. So really, the side to Carrie is actually Charlotte. Charlotte here actually she tends to focus on eros, which is romantic love. But for her, she actually does have a lot of philia, which is love between friends. Charlotte's love language is definitely acts of service. And the types of love is actually agape, which is hence her career course, which is love for humanity. And unfortunately for her, her type of love is called storge, which is familiar love, which is why she goes back to Steve often. And another type of love that she does not seem to have enough of is philia, which is called self-love. She doesn't practice it very often, unfortunately. Now, for Samantha, it's an entirely different story. She definitely practices philia, which is called self-love. She often practices a little too much of it, but she does also share philia, which is a love between friends or between the other 3. She practices enough of that, but she's kind of selfish about it. And then for her is mania, which is all-consuming love, but it's not what you think it is. It's actually men and certain relations. We're taking a real quick break. Please guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. These 4 essentially forget that marriage between 2 people doesn't always have to be romantic love. Up until when they get invited to the wedding, they're kind of extremely judgmental. But as these two get married, they say their vows. Each of the 4 girls kind of realized what they said was kind of wrong, and they kind of slowly realize it. And for Bitsy and Bobby, their type of love is definitely philia, which is love between friends, storage, which is familial love, ludus, which is playful love considering their banter, and then pragma, which is enduring love. I'm definitely 100% sure that there is definitely a storyline between Bitsy and Bobby and how they stayed in contact throughout the years. Especially regarding there can be a lot of years in between where they had always met up, regarding each other's respective partners in the past and in between. And not only that, who's to say that Bobby was just only gay? Throughout those years that Carrie says that he has been her friend, where she probably had only seen him once or twice a year, maybe during that time he actually kind of figured out that maybe he was pansexual or bi, or even bi but with a spectrum where he heavily considers men as his optimal partner in a relationship, and then women, vice versa. Or maybe he just recently found that type of love with Bitsy because of all the attributes that I mentioned, which is philia, storage, ludus, and pragma. For these 4, unfortunately, they did not learn their lessons, and they're still kind of judgmental. Bitsy, considering that she's still together with Bobby for a long time, that they're having kids at their kind of advanced age, and not only that, still kind of judgmental of the marriage, even though they were originally kind of acknowledging the reason why that they got together when they said their vows, which is kind of also very ironic considering that in ATLT, a lot of people's marriages go south. I'm just not gonna say who because that's spoilers. Anyway, I'm going to basically take the time to read out some Reddit comments that I see in a Reddit post thread about these 2. And these comments was just so freaking nice, so I'm gonna read them out loud for you guys. Boho from Black Lagoon 7 years ago said, "I love the kind but firm way Bobby handled it with Carrie when he said, 'There's my girl, who I love by the way,' in case he had any money on it. He's known as Bradshaw bitch forever, and he's not stupid. He caught the extended laugh when they announced their engagement. He knows that she judges as a hobby, but that day wasn't for or about Carrie, and he took a small moment to remind her of that. And the fact that this larger-than-life personality did it with precision subtlety is even more of a power move. 2 older adults in a time before the millennial sexual revolution decided that labels about relationships and sexuality didn't mean anything to them." Another comment by Premier Cat Arena said, "I'm not sure if this episode or the one before. At the party, Marcus says maybe he just makes her laugh, and he gave me a bigger understanding into Marcus. I always loved him in Stanford, but hearing him say that was just so wholesome." Another comment from Mr. 422 said, "My headcanon is that they had a very close attraction to each other. They are very much in love, just not what people think." I believe that this is a good way for this topic to kind of be talked about, considering there can be many different marriages besides the one that is traditionally thrust upon us 24/7. Let me know what you guys think down below. Alright, Starbies, that's the end of today's video. Peace out, see you later.